This April, park attendees at the Magic Kingdom will have the opportunity to experience a brand new coaster based on a classic Disney property you might be familiar with. Maybe. You see, in the early days of Walt Disney World, the park was a wonderful goulash of attractions inspired by Disney films, as well as some original IPs for guests to experience. For every Peter Pan's flight, there was a Pirates of the Caribbean. For every 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you'd discover a Haunted Mansion, and so on. In the modern era, the Walt Disney Company has leaned into their IPs quite a bit more than they have in the past. For example, Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Cosmic Rewind, starring the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, no one should be surprised to hear that the newest attraction coming to the happiest place on Earth is, in fact, tied to a Disney property from the 1980s.
Well, Ariel already has an attraction. Are we getting a DuckTales ride where we blast off to the moon?
Great concept, but incorrect.
How about Honey, I Shrunk the Audience 2, spelled T-O-O?
It worked the first time, but still not right. Think a bit more obscure.
Maybe a ride based on The Great Mouse Detective.
We do love rodent-themed attractions.
Or an East Coast version of Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Wait, what about Delta's Dream Flight of the Navigator?
You're really good at this.
I know.
However, none of those guesses are correct. So instead, let's get ready to enter the grid and cruise around on some light cycles in an attraction inspired by one of the most innovative films of 1982, TRON.
TRON? What the hell is TRON?
Did anyone see the movie TRON?
No.
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 No. No.
No. No.
No.
No.
No.
No. Yes. I mean, no. No.
TRON is one of those underappreciated science fiction properties that actually had a pretty big impact on popular culture. An early prototype for the character Tron appeared in a 30-second piece of animation for the Lisberger Studios. It was created using backlit cell animation, a technique that would be featured heavily in the movie Tron to enhance both the live-action and computer-animated segments. Oh, and this was before Toy Story, making it one of the earliest films to utilize computer animation. Steven Lisberger worked with Bonnie McBird on what would become TRON. Lisberger would also direct the film. The movie boasts a really wonderful cast. Tron is played by Bruce Boxleitner, who some science fiction fans may remember from Babylon 5. His lovely player, too, is none other than Cindy Morgan or Lacey Underhall from Caddyshack. My favorite character, though, and I bet he's like a lot of people's favorite character, has to be Flynn, played by Jeff Bridges, also known as the Dude or his dudeness.
El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
The villain Sark is masterfully played by David Warner, who you may recognize from Time Bandits, Titanic, and some of the Star Trek films. For me, he's either Professor Jordan Perry in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, or one of the most iconic villains in Batman the Animated Series.
I am he who is called Ra's al Ghul.
The demon's head. I thought you were only a legend.
I am quite real.
You know, the music in Tron was pretty incredible as well. The soundtrack was composed by Wendy Carlos, the synth mastermind behind Switched on Bach. She's also responsible for several memorable film scores like Clockwork Orange and The Shining.
Hey Marcy, do you prefer Wendy Carlos or Daft Punk?
It's too early in the video for difficult questions like that one. But since we are currently talking about the original Tron, let's go with Wendy.
Wonderful. With all the incredible elements going into this film, you'd assume that Disney had a cinematic hit on their hands. Plus, it was a pretty wonderful story. In an effort to expose the corruption at MCOM, Kevin Flynn breaks into the company in order to hack the MCP terminal. Instead, Flynn is transported into a digital world and must team up with a security program named TRON in order to defeat the villainous command program Sark and the master control program, releasing the MCP's control of the mainframe before being transported back to the real world. Along the way, there are light cycles and deadly discs, all kinds of fun games, as long as you don't get de-rezzed. While the film only wound up being a moderate financial success, it did spawn a couple of arcade games. Tron the arcade game was released the same year as the movie, and discs of Tron came 1 year later. Tron games would also appear on both the Intellivision and the Atari as well.
Didn't Tron also appear in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yes, but it wouldn't be released for a couple of decades, so instead, Troniacs could relive the film with the story of Tron. Of course, the fun didn't end with vinyl. Tron was marketed in a number of ways.
Like this Tron Return Top. It's one of 4 different tops with characters from Walt Disney Productions' futuristic movie, Tron. There's one in each specially marked box of Shreddies.
Children were encouraged to snag action figures, and Smucker's Jelly offered a futuristic action book free with the purchase of any 32-ounce strawberry jam. Oh, and if you were at the store looking for paper towels, you might even win a trip for you and your family to visit Walt Disney Studios in California to see where Tron was filmed.
Fantastic!
And thousands of other prizes, like Intellivision game consoles, plus money-saving coupons. And get a free Tron t-shirt iron-on with the purchase of 2 participating Scott brands. Look for details on the Scott display at participating stores.
You know, Brandon, it was exciting to ride around on the Tomorrowland Transit Authority over the past few months in order to get a sneak peek at the Magic Kingdom's newest attraction.
Yeah, that was great. Hey, did you know that Lightcycle Run is not the first Tron attraction at a Disney park? Back in 1982, they made over the People Mover over in Disneyland in order to take guests through the world of Tron.
Even though it was only a short segment, parkgoers seemed to enjoy being transported into the game grid and traveling alongside projections of light cycles moving at high speeds.
They did something similar on the East Coast as well. Over at the World of Motion in Epcot Center, you could experience that digitization scene from Tron projected around your Omnimover. Eventually, both the People Mover in Disneyland and the World of Motion would close in the mid-90s. Tron wouldn't see any major representation at the theme parks until 2010 with the Tronorail. If memory serves, it was the first time Disney created a special monorail wrap to market one of their films. Almost 30 years after the original film, Tron Legacy served as the sequel to the OG film. The Tronorail was so exciting, I just had to snag one of these models of the vehicle and get it signed by actress Cindy Morgan. But let's jump ahead 2 more years. After a brief renovation, Test Track over at Epcot reopened, showcasing a new look that, well, it seemed to at least somewhat be inspired by the look of Tron's digital frontier. Is it a coincidence that Test Track was the successor for the World of Motion?
I'm gonna beat my speed record!
In 2016, TRON Lightcycle Power Run opened in Shanghai Disneyland. This was the first time park attendees were invited to experience what it might be like to ride light cycles. Just about every version of Tomorrowland contains some version of Space Mountain, but for Shanghai, Imagineers felt inspired by the Tron franchise.
Isn't it wild that here in Florida, we have both Space Mountain and Tron Lightcycle Run?
Something we've been waiting to experience for quite some time. Can't believe that this is a Tron attraction at Walt Disney World.
Say what? It smells new.
The ride smells absolutely new. This is March 9th, 2023, before the ride attraction's actually open. Don't want to say ride, attraction is actually open. We're experiencing this and getting all the new smells and all the wonderful screams from people.
And now, TRON Lightcycle Run at Walt Disney World invites all of us to once again step inside the grid. But don't worry. It's just like riding a light cycle.
Hello. How are you? You are live on Fox 35.
Fox 35, how are you?
Have you been on the ride, my friend?
I just got off of it. You know, it's a lot faster than when we're looking at it like this, you know?
Right.
When you're on that thing, I haven't moved that fast ever in my life.
We're about to go on that.
Remain seated on your light cycle at all times.
Remove phones, glasses, and other items that may fall off, and secure them in the storage area between the handlebars. To win, every member of Team Blue must pass through 8 energy gates before their opponents. Stick together. It's your only hope for victory. In the light cycle run, there are winners and there are losers. Who are you?
Before we head out, I've got to know, how many of our viewers have experienced Lightcycle Run, and what did you think?
Also, do we have any fans of the Tron films? And which is your favorite? Let us know in the comment section below.
And if you like this video, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to Retro Spectrum so you don't miss a single episode of Details.